Welcome to MBM and the home of sticky learning. We are trainers to the UK grocery industry. I'm here with my colleague Andy. Hello.
Hi.
And we're going to talk about chain of evidence. Now, let's start with the problem. Lots of HR managers, L&D managers and the like tell us that they can't justify the return on investment because particularly in soft skills training, they spend money on it, but what do they get back? Now, I know you've got an answer to this.
I have, and the answer is what we refer to as the chain of evidence. What effectively it is a body of evidence to support the training that's been delivered to be able to demonstrate a return on investment. And that's done across 5 different levels. We'll bring those to life in a moment. But in essence, it's a way in which we can deliver some training and then demonstrate the return on investment that that training has actually then produced.
Okay, all right. So if I'm a HR manager, I go, yep, I get that, Andy, return on investment, you're telling me about chain of evidence. How does it actually work? What do you ask people? What do I get?
Sure, no problem. So across those the 5 levels, typically when training is run, most trainers will do something called the happy sheet. This effectively just gathering the reaction at the end of a training course. Now, have you liked it? What's been good? What's been not so good? That stuff. But it is just a happy sheet. It's just that instant reaction. And they're typically really positive. Now, we know that most trainers, and we're actually talking about 50 to 60% of trainers only evaluate at that level. We've then taken it further. Now, we're using Kirkpatrick's model of the 4 levels of training evaluation, and we've added a 5th level to it. So yes, we gather that initial reaction, that level 1 stuff. What we then do, and there's a connection with our sticky learning, which is the process and the way in which we deliver training over a number of interventions, is to then understand at level 2 what's the learnings that people took away from the course. Right. At level 3, it's then what behaviours have they now got as a result of the learning that they've got, and what we're ultimately looking to do is develop long-term behavioural change. So once we've got our behaviours, we then say, well, people are doing that stuff, what's the results that they've got from their new behaviours? And that's when we start to make the intangible tangible. Now, for something like negotiation skills, it's very easy. We can get to a very quantitative number. For other areas, it's far more qualitative, but we can still make the intangible tangible to understand the results that they've delivered. And then I mentioned the 5th level, which is around the overarching sponsor level, original objective for the right reason why that training or that suite of training was put into place. So all the levels build together. They all come together in what is effectively just a pack, both visual and that mixture of that qualitative and those quantitative things, but effectively it's across their reaction, the level of learning, the behavioural change received, the results that came from that, and then did it align to the overarching sponsor or whoever instigated that original piece of training.
Okay, all right, I get it. So let's see if we can bring it to life. So level 1's the happy sheet, you said. That's the reaction. So I go on a training course and the trainer says to me, was it a great day type thing? All right, perfect. Now we ask better questions than that.
We do.
That's what a lot of other people do. Okay. Now this one I'm sort of being dismissive of because lots of people do it and the reaction's great. But okay, we still ask that level. How was the training today? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. And that's getting those initial reactions because that stuff's important. It's about the first impressions. And if you've got positive first impressions, there's a very good chance that people take that learning and do something with it. And it's at that next level that we want to know, well, what actually did you learn? So each course, of course, has got its own individual learning objectives, and we also encourage learners to capture their own personal learning objective that's effectively built off the course's learning objectives. So we can evaluate against that. What were the learnings? Did it align to your individual learning objective? So that at the level 1, we then start to know what they took away from the course. Okay. For me, again, it's a little bit like the happy sheet. Nice to know information.
All right, cool. So we've got level 1, which is reaction, the happy sheet piece. All right, get that. Then we've got level 2, you talked about learning.
Correct. And then that then leads on to level 3, which is the behavioural. What are you now doing differently as a result of those learnings? Because everyone had absolute clarity on why they were there, what they were going to achieve from the course, both the mixture of the course's learning objectives and their own individual learning objective, we can then start to measure against that and start to understand what behaviours have they now got, both positive and those ones that were negative before that have now been flipped and have become positive behavioural change.
All right, cool. So level 1 is reaction. Level 2 is learning. What did I take away? Level 3 is what changes in my behavior have I seen? Have I observed? Have I done? Okay, and then we're on to level 4.
Level 4 is the results. So this is then measured in a period of time later. Now that's going to be dependent upon the roadmap that the particular program is running. So if we're running a full-day course, full-day courses, that's typically run across between 4 and 6 months. By then, people should, based on their behaviours that they're now have either adopted or developed, started to deliver results back to the business. And as I mentioned, with negotiation skills, yeah, pretty easy to measure. I did a negotiation, saved £1 million. 30% of that was attributable to the new tools and techniques I got from my course, for example. Something else that's a bit more softer, and a lot of the softer skills that we deliver on, it may be presentation skills. So from the behaviours I've now got, I'm now far more impactful. I now prepare more effectively. I am the presentation, not my slides. We can then start to actually good behavioural change. What are the results of that? And we start to make the intangible tangible through the effectiveness of the presentations that they've been delivering.
All right, so if I bring, let's do level 5, then I'll bring it to life for negotiation skills. That's where I'm more comfortable. So level 5, going back to the stakeholder, what does that look like? What do we get?
Yeah, stakeholder. So this is the importance of actually, as with anything, having an end in mind to start with. It's about having that initial overriding objective. So before we start delivering any training, whoever instigated the training, whether that was from the HR department or any other team within the business, whoever is effectively the sponsor of the training, what do they want to see, hear and feel as a result of the training? So we can do the see, hear and feel stuff, plus we can put some more tangible benchmarks in place. As you mentioned, if it was negotiation, we will encourage our clients to challenge us to say, I want you to bring me an extra £10 million worth of savings, for example, or I want Bob to be able to demonstrate X, Y, and Z and have far more effective communications that look like that. But it's about having an overarching set of objectives that we can then ultimately measure the suite of training that we deliver. That's often across a number of different skills, and we can have our feet held to the fire, our toes held to the fire, to ensure that we delivered on that.
So if I do that for negotiation skills, just check with me. So we've got these 5 levels. So level 1, reaction. We've done some training. Okay, that was really good. Learned lots of stuff. We've done lots of those horrible role plays, but I really got that was how we learn. And we have a phrase which is sweat in training rather than bleed in battle. And negotiation skills can be a bit like that. Okay. Then we've got our learning. I understood how to complete a square dance. Might be the learning that I took away. The behavioural piece, which is level 3, is I now am completing a square dance, which is preparation for a negotiation. I'm doing that every time for the really important negotiations. Fabulous. Number 4, I've saved £1 million. As you say, it's much easier to quantify in negotiation skills. And then number 5, back to the sales director, sorry, back to the stakeholder. In this example, I'm thinking it's the sales director who says, Darren, half as many negotiations are escalated to me. Thumbs up.
Brilliant.
Okay. All right. So that's the chain of evidence. We've got 5 levels.
5 levels.
Fabulous. Fabulous. All right. We've brought that to life. Anything else you want our guys to know who are watching this about chain of evidence, ROI, before we let them go?
That's good. Let's put a link into the bottom of the video with an example copy of that for people that have piqued their interest. They may like to see what it physically looks like. So we'll put a link into the example chain of evidence. They can download that and get a feel for what those areas truly look like, and then how that's delivered in terms of a document and a body of evidence to say that training had a return on investment.
Brilliant. All right. So we're looking to solve that problem. HR managers, L&D managers, other people that are initiating training. If you're struggling to justify your spend on training, we can help. Andy has a chain of evidence that he'd love to share. Links are in the bottom of the video. Take care. We'll see you all soon.